This video tutorial I will explain what happens when you type a URL into your web browser. Here you can see the person name is Peter, who enters URL into the browser and hits on enter button. Then what happens? In this scenario, there are three actors. The first one is client, the second one is DNS server, and the third one is web server. When the user type URL into the browser, here you can see the sequence of steps that will happen. DNS resolution, then the client establishes connection to the web server, then client sending the request to the web server receives the request and process the request, then web server send response back to the client downloading the content, and client rendering the page. While rendering the page, if there are additional requests are needed to render the page, then the browser will make those requests. Then finally, page display. The first step is DNS resolution. The browser first extract a domain name from the URL and send a request to the DNS server. The DNS server translates the domain name into an IP address, and IP address is a unique identifier for the web server which is hosting the website. In case of Google website, the domain name is www.google.com. Then the second step is establishing a connection. Once the IP address is obtained, the browser establishes connection with the web server using HTTP protocol or HTTPS protocol. HTTPS protocol is a secure version of HTTP that encrypts the data transmitted between the browser and the server. The third step is sending the request. The browser sends HTTP request to the web server, including the specific page or resource requested, along with additional headers that provides information about the browser and supported content types. And fourth step is processing the request. The web server receives the request and process the request accordingly. And this may involve running server-side scripts, accessing database, or retrieving files from the server's storage. The fifth step is server response. After processing the request, the web server generates an HTTP response. This response contains requested web page content along with metadata such as response headers, status codes, and cookies. Sixth step is downloading the content. The browser starts downloading the response content, which is typically include HTML, CSS, JavaScript files, and any additional resources like images or video referenced in the HTML. The seventh step is rendering the page. As the browser receives the downloaded content, it interprets and renders it according to the specification, which is defined by the web standards. HTML is used to structure the page, CSS styles it, and JavaScript adds interactivity and dynamic behavior. Eighth step is additional request. During the rendering process, the browser may encounter additional resources which are referenced in the HTML, such as images, scripts, or style sheets. Then browser sends a separate request to fetch these resources and allowing the complete rendering of the web page. And the ninth step is page display, which is the final step. Once all the resources are downloaded and processed, the browser displays the fully rendered web page to the user, allowing interaction and navigation within the website.
You can get Java source code link for each video from the description section of the video. and here you can see the video, and to see the description click on this more, and here you can see the description, and here you can see the links, and click on these links to get the Java source code.